pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. May 16th, 2024, September 19th, 2024, November 21st, 2024, March 6th, 2025, and March 20th, 2025. Does anyone have any comments, corrections? Anything?
Grace, do you know which ones you distributed today?
The 6th and the 20th.
Yeah, the 6th and the 20th, we don't have
Okay.
May, September, November.
So why don't we start?
You sure?
I didn't see it.
I think it's got lost in my.
Oh,
Does anybody have it? No.
those are the ones we're missing?
You just, yeah, you only have March and 6th and the 20th right now.
So does anybody have any changes to March 6th?
Anyone have any changes to March 6th and or March 20th? Nobody?
No,
I
the
have
only
a
change
motion
I think
to approve the minutes from March 6th, 2025.
the 6th was, Frank Ducking and Jim stuff.
I'll make the motion. Marty, second by? Jeremy, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I abstain.
One abstention from Diana. Okay, so March 20th, 2025. Any corrections, comments, additions, subtractions? No? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for March 20th, 2025?
So moved.
Seamus, second?
I'll second.
Diana, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The rest of the minutes we will hold off because we don't have them yet. So, that means the next item on the agenda would be Luna Realty LLC, Northeast Great Dane, section block and lot 20-1-33.1. Application for amended site plan for truck repair and sales facility on 11.6 plus or minus acres along New York State Route 94, Randall Street in the CO zone with AQ3 and floodplain and ponding overlays. We're here tonight to consider the draft resolution.
Yes, so previously you actually approved the draft resolution, but there were revisions that needed to be made based upon the ZBA's decision. The ZBA's decision was not as clear to be able to include that into the planning board's resolution. So the ZBA reviewed it again and adopted a more clear decision on Tuesday. So basically you are just readopting the decision that you previously adopted with the following variances that were granted. They had so the paragraph where I usually put it in bold italics for the variances, they applied for and received maximum impervious surface coverage. The maximum impervious surface coverage permitted for properties in the CO district is 70%. The applicant was seeking the impervious surface coverage of 100%. So they requested and received a variance of 30%, and that's because of the weird way that the impervious surface was calculated for this property in the floodplain. The bike path and or sidewalk design standard, as you know, that's required. The applicant was requesting an area variance from the requirement to construct a bike path and or sidewalk along New York State Route 94. That was granted. And then the outdoor storage design standard, they're allowed to have outdoor storage that doesn't exceed 10%. Typically this board has the ability to grant a waiver from that in certain instances. Here the applicant went to the ZBA and they were proposing 3.31 acres of outdoor storage, which constituted 32.26% of the lot area, so they were requesting a variance of 22.26, and the ZBA did grant them that. Then these were conditioned upon the applicant receiving a building permit within 1 year of the date of the decision, which is Tuesday, and the construction being consistent with the plan that was prepared by MJS Engineering dated July 3rd, 2023, and revised March 2025. So with that, I will incorporate that into your resolution, and then the rest of it remains the same. So,
So we need to reaffirm our resolution?
yeah, basically just revote on it because it just needs to be revoted on.
Okay. So, go ahead, yeah.
Kelly, did you see that decision? You wrote the decision? That's a good enough answer for me, thank you.
I did because I was confused about the specifics to be able to include it in your resolution.
I just wanted to make sure, thank you.
I did say it, so I read it to you.
Okay, so what do we need to do? We need a motion to approve the amended resolution of approval, including the revised or clarified ZBA variances that were received, as read by Kelly tonight.
Just not an amended resolution, we're just keeping it the same. Basically, like you didn't adopt it, now you're adopting it. But all
Like
the
it
rest.
never happened.
So I missed it, like it never happened.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're just approving
the resolution is modified.
resolution
this
of
evening.
approval as read by you this evening.
Yeah.
Can I have that motion?
I'll place the motion.
Diana, any second?
I'll second.
Neil, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. I just wanted the records
Unanimous.
to be clear for the future and for Frank when he has to do it.
So was this done at the last meeting? Cause I missed the
No, it
last
was in
meeting.
February
It
sometime.
was, yeah, it
It was in
was,
February?
yeah. So I just didn't resend it to you guys, cause I knew you had already seen it, we had fixed a couple typos, and then this was the one outstanding item. But thank you, I appreciate,
Okay.
board acting on that.
So we're all set with that. Next item on the agenda is Student Bus Company, Inc., section block and lot 20-2-6 and 7. It's an application for site plan approval and lot line adjustment for a bus terminal on 3.4 plus or minus acres along Industrial Drive in the CO zone with AQ3 overlay. We're here to consider the Part 2 EAF that Kelly emailed to us, I believe, right?
Yes. So I prepared for you a Part 2 EAF, and I sent it to Anthony as well, so everybody knows my usual thing is if it's got an arrow on the right-hand side, that means small impact rather than no impact. I had a potentially small impact that the proposed action may involve construction on slopes of 15% or greater. Impact on geological features was no. Impact on surface water was yes, with two potential, sorry, you don't need to refocus there. Two potentially small impacts. The proposed action may involve construction within or adjoining a freshwater or tidal wetland or in the better banks of any other water body. And the proposed action may affect the water quality of any water bodies within or downstream of the site of the proposed action. Impact on groundwater was no. Impact on flooding was no. Impact on air was no. Impact on plants and animals was no. Impact on agricultural resources was no. Aesthetic resources was no. Historic and archaeological resources was yes. Potential small impact, the proposed action may occur wholly or partially within or substantially contiguous to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office Archaeological Site Inventory. Open space and recreation was no. Critical environmental areas was no. Impact on transportation was yes. Two potentially small impacts, that the proposed action may alter the present pattern of movement or of people or goods, and two was other, that buses turning onto a high-speed road near a curve. I didn't know how else to phrase that. Impact on energy was no. Noise, odor, and light was no. Human health was no. Consistency with community plans was yes, which actually means no. And the proposed action is inconsistent with local land use plans with zoning regulations. Had a potentially small impact, and then consistency with community character was no, which actually means yes.
Did we go back to that last one? Inconsistent with, local land use plans or zoning regulations?
Yeah.
I think the part where indicated a variance was required.
Wow, okay.
And I don't know
Gotcha.
if it's any longer required, variance? Area variance is required?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so then on the part 3, they would indicate that they've eliminated the need for variance, yeah.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any questions or concerns or comments on the part 2?
Yeah, I have a copy. I'm not sure whether it's really in here or whether it's later on in the site plan, but in the past when we've had bus garage down on Maple Avenue, where it did not have pavement, we had them provide on-site something to catch any drips of
Of the drip pan.
yeah, drip pan or whatever. I don't know whether that should be under groundwater or whether that should be something else, or whether we just have to take that up when we look at site plan.
Last time we did that, it was a condition that they have drip pans. I'll have to look at how that was worded to make sure it's consistent.
What is it, building inspectors will check if they're using them?
I did once or twice, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just check.
And were they?
Yeah.
It was gonna whip them into shape.
Anybody else? Nothing more. All good? So, can I have a motion to accept the Part 2 EAF as presented to us by Kelly?
I'll make it.
Neil? Anyone?
Second it.
Second? Marty? Seamus? Seamus second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
So for this application, the next thing is the public hearing, which has already been scheduled for your next meeting. So they're gonna provide, they did provide some information, I think in terms of traffic, right? So they'll have to provide the rest of these to address the rest of this. And the public hearing is already scheduled, so that's what they were here for tonight, so that you could complete this step.
Perfect. See that, Anthony? We're ahead of ourselves.
Fantastic.
Do we have the traffic study?
Yes,
Yep.
just distributed the other day. If you don't have it, let me know.
Okay,
So-
I'll look.
I don't remember getting, did you, is it in your packet?
No, I haven't posted it to the Google Drive yet. Did you send it out?
don't
I got it,
remember.
and I didn't.
I didn't-
I don't remember
You
seeing
might
it.
have
I
gotten
remember
it
seeing it
directly
either.
from Anthony.
Okay, so we'll send it out tomorrow.
Okay,
We can have a traffic consultant look at that?
That was a question I actually had for you this evening towards the end of the meeting. Do you want a traffic consultant to take a look at that?
I would, he's gonna know better than I do.
yeah.
I figured as much, but I just wanted to
Yeah,
double check with you.
absolutely. I think it would make sense, yes.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna go to him.
I'll send it out now.
Okay, if that's all on that application, you guys have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Gotham Properties, formerly known as Aurora Innovations. Section block and lot 24-100, 108.2, 112, and 113. It's a lot line adjustment application on 140.8 plus or minus acres on Pulaski Highway, also known as County Route 6, in the agricultural industrial AI district with AQ6 and floodplain and ponding overlays. We're here tonight for initial presentation and to commence secret.
Good evening. I'm Vince Peterzak, here tonight for Gotham Properties. As mentioned, it was the previous Aurora Innovations project. The facility has been shut down and is up for sale. They're trying to adjust lot lines. I provided a colored map which shows the existing and the proposed lots. We have a landlocked parcel in the back, which we're going to be eliminating. The Aurora facility is just on the south piece from Sleepy Hollow Road. The green parcel has been sold to Casa Verde, and they had an easement from their parcel along the orange piece out to Sleepy Hollow Road. When they found out that Gotham was going to put the facility up for sale, they offered to buy the area that they have under easement, and which would be included with the green piece. The end lot configuration that we're proposing would be taking the 4 tax lots and just having 3 tax lots instead of the 4. Combining what would be the blue, which has the existing cell tower on the property up on top of the hill, The orange, which would be the Aurora facility, which is on the south side of Sleepy Hollow Road. And the green portion would be the Casa Verde property.
Question. The cell tower property, the blue property, do they have a utility easement to feed that tower? Is that what the blue line is? Is that a utility easement or is it just access?
This blue line is Sleepy Hollow Road.
Okay, so, okay.
Is that a private road?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Just to follow up a little on Eric's question, the electric service to the cell tower, it veers off of Sleepy Hollow Road.
Yes, it crosses all the properties.
And it actually goes on to the adjacent property. If you look at the supplied site plan,
Yes.
the pole is not on any of these properties. It's serving the cell tower.
It runs from Pulaski Highway, kind of parallel to Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, but when
And
it
then
gets up to the
crosses
cell
up and over.
tower, it's
Correct.
not on any of these properties. It's actually on Urbanski's property.
Okay.
Where
do you see that?
Oh, okay, I see it, yep, yep.
So I would venture to guess there is no easement for that electric service.
That I have no idea. I'm assuming there is an easement for the utility company. They typically have the rights to come and clear anything that's in the way.
Understood, but that last pole is a problem. For this property, this applicant, because the pole is not on their property.
I'll have to look into that. But
In my opinion, you would wanna make sure that since it's a private road, that there is a utility easement there to feed all the lots, right? How are they gonna be served if someone decides to develop them?
the utilities are not along the road.
I'm sorry?
The utilities do not go along the road. They cut through the parcels.
How?
This would be the power line right here. And then there's another line that comes this way.
Okay, and there's easements for those lines?
Only the easements that the utility company would have for maintenance and clearing. I mean, we could create.
Yeah, no,
cross
the reason why
easements.
I'm asking is because even though the utility has easements, right? If they don't butt up against those properties, right, they can't get access to power,
Who can?
those property owners, wherever you subdivide the property to.
No, the utilities are on those lots, so they have the rights to connect to those utilities. They're actually on the properties.
So there's utilities on every single lot.
Correct.
And
Are
just
there any easements in place at all, do you know?
I do not.
Okay, so I think there would probably, in the long run, have to be easements in case any of these are sold. If there needs to be access, like you said, it goes up there and then it cuts over. If that gets sold off, there should be an easement on that one so that that guy can get power that starts off down here on that guy's property. But
Okay.
that's something I have to color up.
Yeah, we can easily do that. That's just a legal description.
Just another issue, where it's indicating the cell tower is,
Yes.
that's not where it is. Cell tower is basically right adjacent to the existing airplane hangar, next to the grass landing strip road.
Isn't that where it's showing?
That's not where it is, it's actually here.
Oh.
I think that's where we're supposed to be on the approved site plan.
That's not where it
So
got
you said
built.
they built a cell tower that close to a grass landing strip?
Well,
It's a
They don't use that.
It's not needed.
but if that's showing where it was supposed to be built, Sean, that's not where it was built.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
I'll double check that. I can have a survey out there.
So
Yeah.
it comes in when we were away. That's interesting, right?
So you're saying it's closer to the airplane hangar, the old airplane hangar?
It's
Yes.
between the airplane hangar and the grass
And
landing
that
strip.
little, that
Over
little-
here.
Yep.
Okay. I'll double check that.
These poles are in this lot, in the orange lot.
So let's just talk about that for a second. So let's just say the applicant goes back, they resurvey it, and it's not the location that was approved as part of the site approval. My recommendation would be they file a separate application for amended site plan, and if it requires any variances, they would have to seek those variances before an amended site plan is issued for the cell tower. I don't think there's been any new or modified regulations. That was only approved in 2014. But, so it would be the same dimensional regulations you already have in your plan is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Would they have gotten the C of O?
I don't
After
know.
construction?
Fortunately, we have the previous building inspector here, so I don't know. You know, do you issue C of
Actually, they shouldn't get a CO, they should get a C, if anything, or compliance with the
There's
zoning
that
code.
hangar,
Uh,
there's a road ends.
I really thought it was right next, right down from the hangar. I thought at one point in time, didn't it also have or was designed so it could be closer to the property line than it would have been.
Is this the one with the hinge?
I think it was the one with the hinge.
Okay. So they might, I don't, did they get a variance? They must have gotten a variance for that.
Do you know what it was called?
AT&T,
Do you know what which AT&T?
Pulaski Highway, AT&T.
AT&T.
It was approved in 2014.
If a property's on both sides of a private road, is that considered a natural subdivision? And I'm only looking at the question later on of whether or not the other half of the property there, or the second property, has access to the utilities otherwise.
I would like to have the easements actually put on the map, the width of the easements, because I don't believe that those lots are doing.
It's right there, so he was
Those
worried.
easements aren't as big as you guys think they are.
What size easement would you like to have as far as?
Whatever they actually are, they're filed at the county. You wanna put whatever easements.
Utility easements?
The utility easements have on their property.
I don't believe there is any easement other than the utility company's easement for clearing and maintenance of the poles.
If the utility has an easement, right, then they have the rights of the property. Okay, they have the poles, that should be filed with the county.
Right.
And that should be able to be put on the maps, because they should have that listed there, okay? And the width of those easements, it would be,
Vince, what you're saying is that if they aren't there, you're willing, or your client's willing to add those at this time?
Correct.
We did get 3 variances. For 65 feet from the front property line and 236 feet from the rear property line? Is that?
Yeah, those are noted on the bulk table.
I don't know. Oh, I don't think I have this.
You're gonna have to look at the signed site plan, you have to pull that out and compare it to what you picked up in the field.
Yeah, I'll send a survey back out to relocate that.
if you're gonna wanna have, you want every lot to have power. I mean, that makes sense, right? That's good.
Of course, yes.
I don't know what the third one is.
Marty, what makes you think that cell tower is not where it's marked?
He's looking at an aerial.
He's looking at
His
the.
house is right there, he knows where it is.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
you
close to
can?
this plan? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Also,
you must have good reception then.
You don't have any TNT.
Especially.
That's always the way
Time
it
to
is.
switch, I guess, huh?
Water everywhere.
Also, on your colored map, you show the road going through the blue section. It should continue on after that.
Yes, we are showing it going all the way to the,
On that one, I just wanna make sure because we didn't have,
all the way.
I know,
On what is it, Spanktown Road?
yeah, it
Yeah.
goes into the farmland, I know. I just wanna make sure that they still have access going through that property.
Diane, I
Yes.
just wanna make sure we're clear on something, so the colored lots are lots,
I know, it's just that,
but he's not gonna extend the blue, he's
No.
gonna have an easement over the orange,
okay,
at least. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the whole thing is blue,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there is
so it,
Yes.
so you don't,
a 50-foot
okay.
easement through.
Yeah, that's on the original.
I
Which
just
is
wanna make
such a
sure that they know it
point.
goes all the way through,
Yeah,
past
it's
that
on the,
point.
if you look at the one that's not colored, it's actually shown and identified on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the color is just for
Yeah,
the
I
lots.
just wanted to
itself.
make sure that it disappeared.
Right.
Because things
Correct.
have happened in the past where they've disappeared.
Understood.
I wanted to make sure farmers still had access.
Yep.
It's not much of a road, though.
No,
I'm
it's,
sure
Which
it's
is another
not.
great lead-in.
Most of them out there aren't.
The variances that are needed for this, you do need a 280A variance for properties not on a road suitably improved. I understand they don't wanna do any improvements at this point, so they would need a variance for that. And then on the colored map, you are making a lot with 0 frontage on a town or county road, so that needs a variance as well.
even though it's on a private road, it still needs, it's okay.
Do you have a code? You have a question about the natural subdivision?
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, no.
We have no problem putting in no further subdivision of that lot, if that would resolve the issue,
Which issue is that?
natural subdivision.
Oh, there's a definition in the code as to whether it becomes one anyway. I just,
I don't think there's much on the other side of the road anyhow. I think
It's all black dirt.
Floodplain, the Blackberry, yeah.
public streets, so it's not,
So to one, then later on, it'd have to be an action of the planning board.
Okay.
So it's a lot line adjustment, but they need variances. So I think Kelly's gonna talk to you about seeker and GML, but I think the next step for the applicant, he's gonna have to clear up these easement issues and the cell tower issue. But, I don't think the lot line adjustment really affects that because it doesn't affect the setback requirements of the cell tower, whether it's here or there. So I think the next action for this applicant is to go to the ZBA for those 2 variances before you can approve it.
but the good news is, for the applicant, this is considered a type 2 action under seeker. And GML referral here is not required based on the county's agreement with the town.
Okay.
So
It
We'll
will be
need a-
for your variances, so.
we'll need a motion to type it as a type 2 action for secret. Anyone make that motion?
I'll make it.
Marty?
I'll second.
And second by Eric. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Public hearing?
We have to set a public hearing?
No, I just want you to discuss it.
Okay.
A public hearing is in the discretion of the planning board under your code. If you determine in the course of your review of a lot line adjustment that there are issues that would justify holding a public hearing, you can require one. Such issues may include, without limitation, the presence of an officially adopted trail corridor on the subject parcel. In such case, you would reclassify this as a minor subdivision and hold a public hearing.
Okay. So, does anyone feel strongly that we need a public hearing for this application?
I would ask Marty and Diana, who might have more knowledge. Anybody gonna have issues with it down there?
I don't see a problem with the public hearing, but I honestly don't see any
Harm in doing it?
of, I was gonna say, any of the locals attending.
Yeah, I don't think any of them will attend, as long as they still have that road, I don't think they'd have a problem in it.
We'll still be required to have one at the zoning board also.
Yeah.
Yes.
The people that live around there, I don't think, because
You
you
can-
can't see it on the other side of the hill anyway.
You can table a decision on the public hearing and see what happens with variance.
Let's do that. I like that idea. Everyone agreed?
We agree.
Yes.
Okay. We will table that discussion to see what happens at the CBA.
And that's really all you can do tonight.
That's all we could do.
But I appreciated the colored maps.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
It made it easy. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, great. Does the board have any other issues or comments or feelings about this at this point?
No,
Not at this point.
Thank
I mean,
you.
those are some fairly complex, not complex, but the major issues that have to be addressed still, so. I think once we see how they're addressed, I think that's when we can chime in a little bit more, right?
What I'd like to do, if it's okay with the board, is when I make the submission to the zoning board, I'm gonna make some of these modifications and changes. I'd just like to resubmit to this board when I send into the zoning board also, if that's okay. Great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
Taylor, you're gonna make sure that those other two lots have the right to use that road, right?
Take it to the
Private road.
square wood down.
Yeah, so that, we're gonna have to do that as a condition of your, because if
This
they
is all
sell
their
it,
property.
you have to have certain
Cell tower's
language in
over
there.
there. This pole is providing service to that. This pole.
Yeah,
It's
you know, how
gonna
many
be a lot
times we
of-
have,
He's not a fan of theirs. Not a fan of
there's
theirs.
somebody, lights go through it, but they have no utility.
He-
They would come to this
And then they wind up fighting,
I-
and they can't get service in the lots that have egress.
But I'm just saying,
So that happens.
he could turn around tomorrow and
I'll
say.
probably
I
have
want
to
that
color
pole
up a
for
map
property.
and show you.
So we wouldn't make sure that they have the right to use that road at this point?
You would put it as a condition, because you would want easements.
Yeah. I mean, we run into this at work all the time.
Right, those easements?
The pole that's feeding
The likelihood
this
is
guy
they
is
don't.
on this guy's
I
property.
agree.
And this guy's. it's
I just want the easements in place before we
This
approve.
guy says,
I know that
yeah,
there
there's
is
no
a
easement for it.
declaration of restricted covenant that's in place that the board
But yeah,
required
that
the last time that this
Could be a
happened.
problem.
But that had to
Like I
do
said, this
with
thing
taking
is
down the
there.
trees, I
That's
think, where the
amazing.
wireless tower
And
was
I sat
supposed to
here.
go, and they weren't
Was
supposed
that
to be
put
there.
out
But
originally?
now that the tower
When
is
we
in a different
approved
place,
the
I don't
AT&T,
no.
and that pole was there
I guess I'll have to wait to see
already.
that.
No.
They put it on.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and
So,
he didn't say.
that's the agenda. Sean, you had something for us?
Yeah, your next meeting agenda, I just want to go over that with you briefly. It looks like you have 4 applications right now.
New applications?
No,
Oh.
no. Actually, I misspoke. It looks like 5. You have Northern Bear. They're coming in for resolution, provided that the ZBA concludes their decision and wraps it up. They got the approval from the ZBA the night before last, but you need the decision, as you know, from the application you just considered this evening. Student bus is back for public hearing. Wood subdivision, that's that 3-lot subdivision that gets access through the village of Goshen, that's coming back. Liberty Solar is coming back, that's the one on Milburn. They just want to go over with you vantage points for the visual and glare study before the leaves are on the trees. And new application is Hartley Road Battery Energy Storage Site.
That sounds like a full agenda.
Really?
Lee will
Well-
be back on it, right?
Can I
Northern
ask a
Bear-
question?
Yeah, hold on, Northern Bear is a resolution, Liberty Solar is really just vantage points for, and student buses is really only on just for public hearing.
Being that it's Holy Thursday, is anybody not going to be here?
That's a good
question.
question.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
Right.
so we have, so with a not sure, we'll say no, just in case, so we have 2 down. Are you 5 gonna be here?
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Unless
that's
something
the
else comes up.
Passover?
That's not gonna, not be.
It's the week of Passover,
Mhm.
so that may be an issue.
Sure, maybe an issue too.
Such a good question. Let
So
me,
say for Lee and for,
Yeah,
Bill.
it could.
I'm gonna send out an email tomorrow to everybody, if everybody could just respond if they are able to make it.
So what date was that?
17th.
17th. It's
As-
Holy Thursday, that's why I was just wondering.
Yeah, Passover
Not that
starts on the 12th.
Catholics usually take off, but you know, unless
They-
they're going away.
Say it falls on that day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but we should make sure you have a quorum, we don't want people to
Yeah.
come out to the meeting, especially a public hearing, and then find out that the meeting can't go on.
So we will have no Seamus, cause he's traveling,
Again,
I'll put
His
Diana
grandfather
as
was-
maybe.
I'm not sure, I
Flyer
usually
by
go to
us.
service on Holy Thursday, so I'm not sure what I'll do this year.
Okay, but everybody else thinks that they're good?
Yeah.
Good,
A
okay.
while back, we had somebody come in and talk to us about batteries.
Yes,
Yeah, this is a little bit different, this is a, don't mean to sound majority, but a battery farm. Those batteries were associated with solar where, you know, they take the energy off, and, yeah, and they had one battery, I don't know how many they have, I can look up that.
Yeah, no, I'm just concerned that we've never looked at batteries in this quantity before.
That's correct.
And so I have a question about the battery issue itself, and I have a question about firefighting.
Yep.
are you saying I should bring snacks and extra drinks then?
No, I'm saying that I'm not sure where we're gonna get that kind of information, and I'm certainly gonna be looking for it at some point. I'm not sure the applicant can provide it, and then if the applicant does, how we can verify it.
Actually, Eric and I had a discussion, I think we're gonna have to recuse ourselves
For that project.
for that project.
Okay,
Chickens.
Well, so they may not be
The
able
answer
to
to
be on the
firefighting
agenda.
is, let it burn.
Yeah,
Let it burn,
so
yeah,
now
right.
you have three, you might have five.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
No.
firefighting.
No, these
Yeah,
guys
that's
are
what I think
recused,
so, yeah.
those two may not be here, you're left with three, so.
We'll be here, just can't.
So
Well,
they
that's
shouldn't be
been out
on
for that
next.
project, yeah, so I couldn't have that discussion.
Could be.
Does anybody have-
Philip looking at it.
Does anybody out of O&R have any knowledge that we can try to pull O&R in to talk about it?
I
There's.
don't think
Maybe
you wanna
we-
do that now.
Well,
He just said he's recused.
I know, but I'm looking for some kind of
But
expertise.
maybe we talk about that when the
That doesn't-
applicant is
Not for
here, rather than now when we don't, none of us have looked at the application yet. I know I haven't.
I agree with the thought, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I can see to have someone from O and R be the SME for a project that they're contracting someone to build.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Marty's like,
it's not clean.
No, I understand some of it, this is new to me.
What is it, an O&R project?
No, but O and R is gonna contract this person, this entity to build and operate this and have it available to O
That's all I got.
Do we have that material is here tonight?
I believe so,
Very
right?
good, I
Because
didn't know that, this stuff,
it,
yeah.
it might be in there.
What, for the battery storage?
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, you want to, yeah, I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay, anybody have anything else? If not, can I have a motion to close the meeting?
Yes.
Second?
and R. I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
well done.